So if you guys are having trouble with Shopify and don't know where to start or what you need to get started, make sure to watch this video. I'm making this video because a lot of you guys been asking me what do I need to start or how do I go about getting started with Shopify. So hopefully with this video I'll answer your guys' questions. Now the first thing you're gonna need is a website to host your store in, and there's a lot out there. There's a Big Cartel, Squarespace. The main one that I use and that my students use is Shopify. That's probably the one you guys heard of the most, or that's the one that people use the most when dropshipping. And actually that's the one I'm gonna go ahead and recommend to you guys, but feel free to use the other websites, that's totally fine. But don't create an account just yet. You first wanna have your products and then you wanna create your account, so keep that in mind. Which brings me on to my next point, which is having 20 products or about 20 products on your store. Now that's not a precise number. It doesn't mean you have to have by law, or I'm telling you have to have 20 products every single time you open a store. That's not the case. You guys could have a little bit more, a little bit less. It depends on your niche. Sometimes some niches don't allow you, well, not really allow you, but there's not much to it and you're perfectly fine with like 3 or 4 things in your store. Sometimes those 3 or 4 things are way too little, or they don't even make a dent into the niche, so you're gonna have to add more things. And the way I run my store is I basically only have 1 to 3 products that are my main products, my main focus, and that's what my store revolves around. And then the other 20 products or the other 17 products are just basically fillers. They're just something that would go great with the main product, but it's not my main focus. So hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. Those 20 products don't have to be your main products. They could just be fillers, or they could just be something that goes along with what your main product is. So something that's pretty much overlooked with a lot of people who are just starting out is having a professional or a good looking email address. Most people use their personal email address, which I don't recommend you guys go that route. At least get a Gmail address that correlates with your business or that goes with your business. For example, if you're selling cat products, let's just say your store's named Cat Store. I don't recommend you guys name a store like that. This is just as an example. So let's just say your store was named Cat Store. You would want to have an email that is preferably support@catstore.com. But if that's not possible, if you guys can't afford that domain, then you guys could go a cheaper route, which is catstoresupport@gmail.com. At least it looks a little bit more professional than just say you have your first and last name and then like a number, because most people have those types of email address or something that they like batmankiller29@gmail.com. When you're running a business, that email address does not look professional, so try to stay away from personal email addresses. So you guys are also going to need a payment provider. What they allow you is to accept debit and credit cards on your store, and then they pay you a couple of days later after a successful transaction. Now, if you guys have a PayPal account and are thinking of using it with your Shopify store, with your dropshipping store, I highly recommend to not use it. Just stay away from using PayPal and Shopify, especially if you're dropshipping, just because you run the risk of getting your PayPal account banned. It happened to me and it happened to a couple of my students that they got their PayPal account banned, but thankfully I found a way around it. I just don't recommend you guys do it. It's not worth it. So if you guys could avoid it, just stay away from it. Obviously, some people are located in different countries. Some people don't have access to merchant processors, so they're gonna have to use PayPal. And that's gonna be your only option. So go for it. Just be careful. Just keep in mind that you're gonna run the risk of getting banned. Now, for those of you located in countries where you could use merchant processors, then I recommend going with Stripe or Authorize.net. Either one is fine, but don't use your PayPal account if you have one just because it's an easy connection or because you're able to link it easily. Don't use it. Trust me, you're gonna regret it if your PayPal account gets banned. I'm telling you guys this ahead of time. I'm telling you guys from experience, and I'm telling you guys from some of my students. They were completely devastated when their PayPal got banned because they thought they weren't gonna be able to use it ever again. So it sucks. It just sucks. So stay away from it. I just can't emphasize that enough. So this is probably one of the biggest things in the whole business model, is having a marketing strategy. So whether you decide to go with Instagram influencers or you decide to go with Facebook ads, make sure you have a strategy. Make sure you know what you want to do. It is very, very important that you guys have something. If you guys have Facebook ads, make sure you have your Facebook page ready to go. Make sure it's linked to your Instagram account. Make sure that you basically have images on your Facebook page. Make sure that your Facebook ads manager is just ready for you to go. You have all your information entered, and and whatnot. So it makes it seamless to start advertising. And if you guys decide to go with the Instagram influencer route, make sure you have at least 5 influencers to start your campaign with, just so you're able to run ads for a couple of days and test out different things. Now, for those of you who don't know what influencer marketing is or what Instagram influencers are, that's basically people with a big following on Instagram. So if you guys are just scrolling through Instagram and happen to see accounts that have a massive following, those are basically Instagram influencers. And you want to make sure that the influencers have something to do with your store. So if you're running a cat store or a pet store, make sure you're going with influencers that are related to those pets. Now, if you're going with beauty, make sure you're going with beauty influencers. You guys get the point. So make sure your influencers match whatever your store is about. Just a quick little side note, if you guys don't want to fulfill your orders manually, so if you guys don't want to copy and paste the person's order, you guys could install an app called Overlow, and it basically does that for you. Now, for those of you who want to do things manually, then obviously you guys don't have to listen to this little quick tip, but for those who are looking for a faster way to fulfill orders, you guys could go ahead and use Overlow. So this is an app that you would install on your Shopify store directly from their website. Now, their pricing is a little bit weird. Obviously, they start you off free. You don't have to pay anything to install the app, and they don't charge you anything a month. Now, they start charging you if you start getting a lot of more orders. So for example, if you want to do anything over 50 orders a month, then they're going to charge you $29 a month. And if you want unlimited orders, they're going to charge you $79 a month. So you guys have to decide whether you want to pay those extra dollars to have those orders fulfilled, or if you want to do them manually, or if you want to hire somebody else to fulfill the orders for you. So all those 5 things are pretty much crucial to running a successful Shopify store. You obviously have to have a place to host your store, in this case Shopify. You're going to need products. Depending on your niche, you might have more or less. You're going to need a custom email to make yourself look presentable. You're going to need a payment provider to be able to accept payments, and you're going to need a marketing strategy. It could be influencer marketing or Facebook ads. Now, there's some things to keep in mind. If you guys decide to go with Facebook ads, do not cheap out. It's very, very important. A lot of people fail because they cheap out on their Facebook ads. They feel like they're spending money on something that's not generating them money. Don't look at it as, okay, I'm gonna spend $100 on Facebook ads. That $100 is basically lost. It's useless. Don't think about it that way. That's a wrong mindset to have. If that's your thinking, you're really not going to succeed because you're not looking at it as an investment. Because if you have a successful ad, that ad is going to pay for itself because it's going to be generating you sales. So don't cheap out. Look at it as an investment, not as something that you pay for and don't get anything in return. Now, with that said, your first Facebook ad might not succeed. It might not do well. That's totally fine. Do not feel discouraged just because you spent $50 on Facebook ads and you didn't get a sale. Sometimes I've had to spend about $200 before I started getting a sale, and then once I start getting sales, I start tweaking the ad a little bit more, and then that ad starts performing really well, and I start generating a lot more sales. So don't give up if your first ad doesn't succeed. If you don't get any results in your first 2 days of running that ad, make sure to turn it off and then try a different marketing tactic, or just try targeting different people on Facebook. But don't give up on your first try or even your second. Don't give up. Do not feel afraid to spend money on ads, because that's the way you're going to succeed with dropshipping, by spending money on ads and getting people to buy products from you. If you cheap out on Facebook ads, you basically failed at Shopify, because Facebook ads or advertising in general is a crucial part to dropshipping, because if nobody knows you're selling stuff, nobody's going to buy. And another thing I want to make you guys aware of is that products could take up to a month for them to be delivered to the customer. So for those of you who are thinking, this is too long, what if the customer wants their money back? How do I handle those customers that get frustrated or they get impatient because the product hasn't arrived? Don't worry about it. Make sure to watch my video on how to deal with customers, and that's something I also talk about in my course. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I just want to let you guys know that I will be posting less frequently, but I will have higher quality videos out there. I've been looking at a lot in YouTube, or I've been looking through a lot of YouTube videos that are related to Shopify or just to business in general, and they're all pretty shitty, not to mention any names or anything like that, but I want to be able to provide something that's really high quality and something that you guys will enjoy watching. Instead of trying to post daily or every other day, I want to focus on making high quality videos for you guys. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.